Okay, this is the engine compartment of a 1970 Chevelle, an SS car. It houses a big block engine, which it would have come with originally. This one is 454 configuration, from what we can tell. But again, without getting into the internals, all I can do is tell you it's a big block Chevy. It'd be a 454, a 468, a 496, a 502, a 513, 517, who knows? But we know it's at least a 454. It has an aluminum intake manifold on it. It's an oval port motor, so it'd be like an LS5 engine. The correct style valve pan covers that came with this car. It has K&N air filter at this point, a Holley carburetor with a dual feed and a fuel pressure gauge on it. Does have a real cowl induction hood on it. Does not have the hardware with it or the air cleaner. If you chose to eliminate the K&N air cleaner and put the big type air cleaner that came from GM on this vehicle, you could make it a functioning cowl induction system on this car if you chose to do so. This is more of a custom vehicle. It has a lot of amenities to it that normally you wouldn't see on a standard old Chevelle. Very expensive. You'll see it. Devil will take some pictures of it. I don't know the exact manufacturer, but I know March makes them. It is a complete billet aluminum serpentine drive system on the front of this. It even has the billet aluminum machined wheel for the alternator, also for the air conditioning compressor. Even the tensioner is billet aluminum on this thing. Aluminum water pump with a standoff to compensate for this March drive system, or March style drive system. Everything is polished aluminum or chrome underneath this engine. It's beautiful. Somebody's really taken the time. They put a new style air conditioning compressor on it, 134 coolant in it, refrigerant, stainless steel top radiator hose, 4-pass aluminum radiator, huge radiator in this thing with one of the nicest shroud systems I've ever seen. It has a set of high volume staggered fans in it, and it even has a flapper on it, both sides, top and bottom, to compensate for the air that could be flowing through there if you're at highway speed, 60, 70 miles an hour. Oh boy, let's see. It has an HEI distributor in it. The vacuum advance is still hooked up and functional. High silicone plug wires with the additional housing on the outside of them. Real bright red color, gives it a lot of pop. The heat is still hooked up for the passenger compartment in this particular vehicle. In the event it would go north somewhere where they actually needed a shut-off on the battery, which is a new battery. Billet aluminum overflow tank for the radiator reservoir. Looks like a brand new air conditioning condenser in the front, dual horns on the radiator core support, which is all original. You can see it's never been replaced. The inner fender panels are semi-flat black, just the way they should be. As is the under hood. It has some sound deadener insulation also underneath the hood. Power steering and power brakes, and I did mention it does have air conditioning. The master cylinder, which is a dual stage master cylinder, is absolutely brand new, so I'm going to just put that on, and new stainless lines by the looks of it. It has a set of, I'm going to call them 1 3/4. They might be 1 7/8, but I'm going to call them 1 3/4 long tube headers that go into apparently 3-inch collectors, but we'll do that better once we get underneath the car. It has a standard A-arm front suspension on it. There's no leaks evident anywhere on this vehicle, not on the valve pan covers, the intake manifold, timing chain cover. I don't see anything leaking. We'll see better once we get underneath this guy, but right now I don't see anything at all that's seeping on this. It dry as a bone, which is unusual for a muscle car. Nice engine compartment, tons of torque. Don't know the absolute cubic inch displacement of this engine, but we know it started life at least as a 454. Nice car to drive. It has a great sound to it, lights up for us every time. No issues whatsoever with it, at least not in the building here. We'll do a test drive for you and do an undercarriage for you and show you the rest of it. But for now, we know it's got a ton of torque, lots of horsepower, A lot of amenities underneath the hood, and we're going to go around the rest of it for you now. Hi, you're Hangsters in sunny, hot, steamy Daytona Beach, Florida. And today our guest, we have another 1970 Chevelle. Seems like we only ever have one at a time anymore, because as soon as we get two or three, it goes down to one pretty quick. We just got this one, the black and white one just sold. So we're going to present this one to you, show you all about it, and let you make a decision. The paint on this is definitely not driver quality. This is far above a driver quality paint job. The paint on this thing is very, very nice. The stripes are painted on. You can't feel them because there's so much clear over them. And so even though you see them, you can't feel them. Everything's been cleared over. And it's not foggy in any way. So whoever laid the paint on this thing did an exemplary job of it, because it has a nice uniform texture to it in its entirety. Fitment of the hood to the front fender, you can see it clean up to the cowl area here. It's about as nice as you're going to ever find. It does have a set of hood pins. Someone liked them better than us, I guess, because now they're gone. But we will put another set of hood pins on here for you. They are stainless steel. And the gap, you can see, is about 1/8 of an inch on both sides the whole way around, and across the front here on the header panel too. Just as nice as you'd hope to find. Chrome around the, or on the bezels in the front. That's a little loose, gotta tighten that. Just as nice as you'd hope to find. There's no patina whatsoever on it, none. This is nice and tight. Chrome on the front bumper and fitment. And a little closer there. Not even enough to mess with. A little tiny bit closer on this side. Not going to mess with it. It's certainly well within any production standards, and the alignment is just so nice that you really hate to mess with it. It really, really looks good. SS designation on the front of it, on the grille. The trim around the grille itself, which is also loose. Needs to be tightened up there, but the trim itself is absolutely flawless. There's no chips or dings or anything from rocks flying up through the years. And again, the SS designation, the plastic is all nice, not chipped out or teeth broken out or anything. Chrome on the front of the bumper, just as nice as you'd hope to find. Nice clear parking light lenses, absolutely brand new. There's no scuffs or marks or anything across the top of this chrome, the front of the bumper here. Thank God no one has put their feet up on it through the years like a lot of guys do. The front end of this car is just as straight, as nice as you could ever hope to find. It's really nice, and it does have a General Motors style cowl induction hood on it, and designation cowl induction also. That could be made functional again if you chose to do so. Let's get down the side, see what we can find for you there. Okay, down the driver's side of our 70 SS style Chevelle. Side marker lamp, nice and flush fitment, look at that. Wheel lip molding, no dingies or dents whatsoever in it. 454 SS designation on it. Nice fitment of this hood to the fender to the door. Look how nice this door fits in the front. Down to the rocker panel. Absolute positive fitment on that. Trim around the front window. Absolutely nada. Nothing on it. Correct wiper arms and correct blades for this guy too. Both argent silver, just the way they should be. Vent plate is nice and legible on the dashboard here. The dash itself, the pad is nice. There's no deviations in it whatsoever. No cracks, no warpage, nothing through the years. Everything looks good. The speaker vents, I guess you call them vents, where the speakers go on each side. There's no deterioration whatsoever between those perforations that are on it. Correct style GM mirror, non-adjustable except for the outside, manually adjust. The roof, just the same as the hood. The paint is just, it looks like wet glass across the top of it. There's not a single imperfection, mark, dent, chip, ding, absolutely nada. Absolutely nothing. Drip grill molding, wow, flawless. As long as this is, there's not a single mark on it, not one. Look at the fitment of the front window to the rear window, and no patina whatsoever on this piece here that usually is distressed somewhat. The rubber moldings where they transition from the white whiskers, whatever you want to call them, onto the body panels, that rubber is nice and tight. I can't even get my fingernail underneath it the whole way. And they're new and nice and resilient also. Chrome on the door handle is absolutely new. There's not a single imperfection in it. The side glass is tinted, and so is the back. I can't even see the hat rack in the back through it. Let's see. Little chip down here after brush touch. Door has to go in. It's within production standards again, but it has a little tiny bit of an overhang. This door needs to go in just a tiny bit, which we'll do. We'll adjust that door so that it's better than production standards for you. Wheel lip on the back. Wow, these tires are really close, let me tell you. There's probably 3/8 of an inch of clearance, and that's it. No marks on the fender lip molding in the rear, which, by the way, all tin. Trim around the back light. And I'm not kidding, I cannot see in here through this black glass. Everything just looks blacked out. So we're going to have to look at that from the inside. I can't see it from out here. Trim around the back glass, just as nice as you'd hope to find. Then the quarter panel. Side marker lamp in the back, just like in the front. Nice fitment. On the side of this vehicle, there's no ripples, no deviations, absolutely nothing except for that protrusion from the door, just a little tiny bit. We got to make that go in. That's really starting to bother me. I got to fix that. Yeah, this is a nice driver's side. A huge set of 18s in the front, 20s in the back. They're a torque thrust style wheel in a chrome plated finish. Fantastic looking wheel combination, and that is as big a tire as you can hang on the back of this thing. There's no way you can put any more rubber on it than that guy has on it right now. And I just noticed 4-wheel discs front and back. This guy's got 4-wheel discs on it. Really nice pop to it with this wheel and tire combination. Gives it more of a custom look as opposed to a stock style look. Of course, that's what the engine was patterned after also. Give it a little bit of a custom look, a little bit more pop. Let's go out back, see if we can find something there for you. Okay, rear section of our 70 SS Chevelle. Again, you can't see it in the video, but the paint in this thing is up here. It's really, really high end. Nice finish. Somebody spent a lot of time and then cleared over everything. You can't feel the stripes at all. About 1/8 of an inch the whole way around as far as fitment goes, and really nice fitment. There's no way that you can get that deck to fit any better than it does. Bumper fitment. A little tiny bit closer on this side, just like it was in the front, than it is on this side. I don't know. Two guys must have been doing it at the same time, and one of them did a little bit different than the other one. SS designation on the back. It's still well within production standards. I mean, it's not anything we'll probably mess with. We'll probably just leave it alone because it is so close that I don't know that you can get it a whole lot better. You can mess around for a couple hours and maybe get it a little bit better. Rubber's nice and resilient on the back. Still has that white trim around it with the SS designation on it. Everybody's favorite, except the loose tail light on this end. This one here is good and tight yet. Has movement, but it's good and tight and it's rubber. Chrome on the bumper. Can't be any better. That's as nice as it absolutely can possibly get. Rear valance, there's no pulls, no dents whatsoever in it. Just has a couple of turn down exhausts, no chrome tips or extensions on it. The buyer can decide what he wants to do with that when he gets it. It looks fine just the way it is. Has a nice sounding exhaust system on it. Absolutely nothing on the back end of this car. little bit of looseness in this one tail light here that has to be tightened, but other than that, it mimics the rest of the car. We got one more side to go yet, and then we got a really nice car for you. Okay, passenger side, our last side here. I still haven't found, other than that one little tiny stone chip or heel chip or whatever on the rocker panel underneath the door that you can't really even see. It's there. That's the only brush touch I could even find. Side marker light, just as nice as you'd hope. Trim around the back light on this side, just like the other side. Absolutely flawless. There's not a single mark or a hammer mark or a knuckle mark or anything from installing this trim around the back light. It's just as precise as you could ever hope to find one. Wheel lip molding on this side, same as the other. Again, the roof, just absolutely flawless. Drift rail, same as the other side, not a single imperfection on it, not a single one. And again, look at the window fitment. And again, no patina on this. But look at this. That is as nice as you could possibly get one. And again, white whiskers, just nice tight fitment right up onto the body panels. Now this door is right on the money. It doesn't need to be touched. Look at that. That's sweet. Okay, door handle new like it was on the other side. Look at this. It's about as nice as you can hope to get something to fit. It really is. Trim on this side, same as the other side. Just absolutely dent free. None whatsoever. Even our trim around the base of the hood and the back, base of the windshield, just as nice as you'd hope to find. SS designation 454. No dingies, marks on this whatsoever. Side marker lamp. Even the fitment where the fender comes up to the caps in the front, these headlight enclosures, just as nice as you'd ever hope to find. Now this side is just, there's no protrusion whatsoever on that door. This side is just as laser straight as you could ever hope to find one. Fantastic looking car, really nice fitment. It's a 70 Chevelle. Everybody goes crazy over these cars. 67s and 70s are the 2 years of Chevelles that are predominant in the muscle car world, and 70s are impossible to keep. They made a lot more 70s than they did 67s, and 67s we don't even have one right now. This car is a really great paint fit and finish on it. It does have an original cowl induction style hood on it with the designation yet. That could be made functional if you chose to do so. A lot of guys don't like that because the air cleaner hides most of the motor. It has 4-wheel discs, and we haven't even been under this yet, but I can see it has 4-wheel discs, a huge set of wheels and tires on it. It's a great car. It's a car that you just watched Devin and I go over. We went over every inch of this, found a couple of loose things, a door that needs adjusted in just a hair, one little stone chip underneath that you can't even see. And other than that, we couldn't find anything on this car. It really looks good. It fits good. The finish is nice. The overall look, the overall character of this thing is just exemplary. It's got a real nice look to it, especially with that huge set of tires in the back. Gives it a real racer type look. It's here at Daytona Beach at Hangsters, and we encourage everyone to jump on a bird or jump in their car and come down and take a look at everything that we have in the showroom. We always have in that 70 to 80 car range, you know, even whenever, I know we have 8 cars right now getting ready to ship, but we always have somewhere between 70 and 80 cars for you to look at, even though you only see about 40, 45 of them on the website. Devin and I try to get these up as fast as we can. The problem is we're selling them faster than we can do the videos, and that's even working off of a 45 car inventory. So if you don't see what you want on our website, doesn't mean we don't have it here in the building or outside or in the back shop. So, I mean, there's a good possibility that we have something that you're looking for. So just give us a call. But if you can, run down here and go over the inventory yourself. That way you know exactly what you're looking at, exactly what you're buying. We encourage everyone to do that. Okay, we're in our cherry red black stripe 70 Chevelle. And this car's as nice inside as it is outside. I mean, it is just an exemplary looking car. New headliner, absolutely just as tight as can be. Again, we saw from the outside, but going over it on the inside, there's still no marks or deviations or cracks whatsoever on the dash pad itself. Steering wheel, the same way. There's no cracks whatsoever in it. Original SS style steering wheel, and guess what? Check this out. It's got a tilt wheel in it. Full instrumentation in this car. It's got a quadrant of gauges plus a tachometer and a non-working clock. We don't do clocks, we don't do radios. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. Let's see here. SS designation on the sides of the doors. The door panels themselves are just as fresh as clean looking as you could possibly find. No scuff marks or anything on the lower panels of them. The hardware, your door actuators and your window winds, your window cranks, all new, front and back. They're just as fresh looking as they could possibly be. Sun visors, nice and tight yet. There's no stitching coming loose on them. All the trim around the dashboard is nice and fresh and clean. All the chrome that's usually deteriorated is not on this vehicle. Just as fresh as clean as you'd hope to find. All the knobs and actuators on the dash, including the air conditioning system, is just as it was when it was new. Even the outside borders on this dashboard, someone has had this out and had the dash redone. There's no question about it. They do have a trio of auxiliary gauges underneath that give you a little closer cap onto what is actually happening, what the temperature actually is, what the voltage actually is, and what the oil pressure actually is. The gauges in the dash, which, and they're close, but they show you low and high, and who knows what's in between. The headrests themselves are the original molded style headrests. They are not recovered. They are not hand stitched here, sewn here. This is molded just the way they came from the factory, which is correct. And so is the seating area. You can see that it has a basket weave type inserts in the seats just the way they should be. And it's a correct style vinyl and texture for the seats front and back. Hat rack, by the way, can't see it from the outside because of the dark glass, but the hat rack is absolutely new. It's been replaced. It has a set of armrests in the back to go. Those window cranks are new, I did mention that. But it has a set of armrests in the back with trash trays in them. And you got a trash tray in the dashboard here too. So, staple shifter on the console. Glove box here, glove box there. Vents for your air conditioning, which is functional. Day-night mirror, which has no milkiness whatsoever to it. It's still the original mirror that came with it. Cut pile, or not cut pile, loop cut pile carpeting, the way these cars came from the factory. Console's really nice in this car. Usually there's some deterioration on this chrome that surrounds the shifter enclosure, and there's none on this vehicle. There's absolutely none. It's just as clean and fresh as it was when it was new. When you look into the door jambs, it's also nice and clean and clear, just the way it should be. The rubbers have all been replaced with new, nice, resilient rubbers and seals. Aftermarket radio, but they didn't hack up the dash. It's a GM style radio, but you can see it's a real high-end radio. I don't know how it works. Devin probably does. I don't mess with radios. But it is a nice addition to the dashboard of this car. It has a lot of chrome around the face of it. And again, the actuating knobs, your dials and everything match the rest of the dials on the dash. And they're just as new and fresh as you'd hope to find. I don't see anything in this car that's a negative. Absolutely nothing. Seat belts in the front. I don't see seat belts in the back. It doesn't mean they're not tucked underneath the seat somewhere. But we do have seat belts in the front of this guy. And the seals where you come in, the door seals, are original, still have the GM designation on the sides of them, and they're not deteriorated at all, none whatsoever. Nice car inside. There's no sagginess whatsoever to the headliner. Again, the dash, the seats, the seating area, resilient, nice wheel on it. Oh, armrests on the front. Still the molded armrest that came with this guy. Instead of being stitched and covered with vinyl, these are the original molded style armrests that were released with this car in 1970. So you got a good looking Chevelle here, interior and exterior. And you'll see the undercarriage here shortly, and we'll do a drive, and then you have all the information you need to make a decision on purchasing the car here at Hangsters. Okay, this is our 1970 Chevelle. It's like a cherry red color, black stripes on it. Really neat car. Tilt wheel, look at that. Tilt steering wheel. Left turn signal working just the way it should. Right turn signal doing the same thing, just the way it should. How about the clock that works? You want to believe that? A clock that actually still works. The tach is not working at this point. Not uncommon for these cars, especially if they have an MSD ignition in it. It's tough to get the tachs to work. Let's see, wipers. Wipers just beating themselves to death out there on the old windshield. Okay, air conditioning. I know the air works in this thing. And it is. It's starting to blow cold. You can see the indicator light for the air conditioning on. And it's definitely starting to blow cold, just the way it should. See? Okay, what do we got? Horn. Horn didn't work before. Horn works just as it should. Nice car. We're going to go for a ride in it and see what it runs like. It's the first time I've been in it, actually. And we're going to go check it out and see how it works. Oh, I lied. Look, the tach is working. The tach is working just like it should. You see the tachometer is definitely working. And we have a trio of gauges down here that are functioning also. We have about 55 pound of oil pressure as we're driving, 14 volts, so it's charging. And we're up to about, what, down 180 degrees. So all the gauges are functioning at this point. The car goes down the road real nice and straight. It doesn't wander. Got to point in the right direction now. Just goes down the road straight as can be. No hands. Let's try braking, no hands, see what happens. We'll got to aim it the right direction before we brake though. Yeah, just fine. 90's a little percent. 454, it's got a nice pull to it, real nice sound. Not objectionably loud, but it does have a nice rumble to it. It's a real nice throaty sound to it, big block Chevy. We're going to turn around here at the bank and give it a little shot, just to let you hear what the car runs and sounds like whenever it opens up a little bit. You got to be careful. We're in a 35 mile an hour zone here, so. And in Florida, there's a death penalty for speeding. It's got a real nice rumble to it. It's got a really great sound. Got a nice cam in it. Shot here for you. The car pulls nice and strong. It doesn't hesitate. The shifts are nice and clean. They're not slamming into gear, but they're nice positive shifts. It's a nice car. Going down the road. Okay, this is the undercarriage of our 1970 Chevelle, the only one that we have at this point. Black and white one just left Saturday. The only 70 that we have on the premises at this time. We're always hunting for them. It's the only one we got right now. You can see the engine's been out. It's all nice and fresh. Everything's all nice, freshly painted. Brand spanking new harmonic balancer in the front of it, serpentine drive belt system. The steering box appears to have been out. Newer Pitman arm on it, and the newer idler arm both have grease fittings on them. Newer springs in the front. I can't tell if they're E-box or whatever. They're gray colored paint on them. Newer shocks also. Polyurethane bushings for the motor mounts. It has polyurethane motor mounts on it. Also polyurethane transmission mount in the rear here. It gives it a little bit more stiffness, not as much driveline flex. Disc brakes in the front. The rotors are nice and fat. Calipers are a newer set of calipers. Have a little bit of surface rust on them. Certainly nothing that affects their performance. The exhaust system is high temp coated ceramic. I'm going to guess inch and 3/4. It might be inch and 7/8, but I'm going to call them inch and 3/4. Going into 3-inch collectors, going into 3-inch stainless steel tubing, stainless steel pipes. The subframe in the front The front section of the frame, which is a box frame, there's no marks whatsoever on it. I don't see any jack marks at all on it. There's one jack lift mark here, and there's also one right here on the C-channel type frame that's evident. New linkage on the Turbo 400 tranny. It's got a stall converter in it. I don't know if it's 25, 35, whatever it may be, but it is a smaller diameter torque converter. Does not have a shield on it here. Most of these cars in the South that we get, the shield is omitted simply because this way it allows the transmission to dissipate a lot more heat just from the air circulating around it, not having this shield. Up in the northern states, you almost have to have that for slop in the wintertime, but nobody uses these cars in the wintertime anymore anyway, so best thing to do is leave it open the way it is. New brake lines going toward the rear. They appear to be stainless, but I'm not really sure. They have the circular wire winding on them, just the way they should be. New fuel lines also going toward the rear of the vehicle. No leaks, as you can see. None on the engine, none on the bell housing area, flywheel area, and absolutely none on the Turbo 400 tranny area. Not even on the speedometer drive. There's nothing leaking whatsoever on this car at this time. That doesn't mean a year down the road you're not going to see a few drops of oil on the floor. It's a muscle car. It goes with the territory. If you don't like leaks, don't buy these guys. And also don't buy Porsches and Ferraris or Lambos either, because I own them and there's a pan under every one of them. The starter is a conventional starter. The bushings are the original bushings yet. They've been replaced, but on the sway bar. New sway bar links. Let's see what else we've got here. Geez, the floor pans are the original floor pans. They are totally undisrupted. You can see that they haven't been replaced. They still have a lot of the sound deadener material still on them for General Motors. The floor pan is just totally unobstructed. Still has all of its structural bracing the way they came from the factory on it, on the front part. The rear part of the floor the same way, the structural bracing. It definitely has the seat belts in the back attached. The C-channel frame itself is just as sweet as you can see the whole way down across here. Another jack stand mark right here and another one right here. Those are two in the front, two in the back, and that's it. Just normal usage through the years. And I did mention disc brakes in the front, power discs. And you can see that entire drive line. There's absolutely no leakage whatsoever. None on the tail shaft. This drive shaft is new also. It also has new joints front and rear, and a new yoke. And the rear end has all new bolts, nuts actually, Nylox nuts on it, holding it in place. It's a 9-inch Ford rear end, very heavy-duty rear end. A new yoke on it, and also a new front seal in it. So the rear end's been apart and addressed, so there's no leaks whatsoever on it. Again, the rear part of the floor pans, all just as nice as they were when they were new. All the structural bracing still intact, just the way it was when it was new. I'm running out of breath here. All the brake lines that go across are all also replaced and all new. 3-inch into 2.5-inch into, now I'm going to call this 2.5 also. This is very 2.25, maybe 2.5, but it's at least 2.25 inch. Straight through mufflers, under chassis mufflers. The swing arm assemblies are totally unobstructed and unmarked. There's no marks or jack marks or anything whatsoever on them. Rear rotors and calipers also on this guy. Everything is new, and all the associated hardware is also new. And try to see if there's a parking brake associated with it. A lot of these brake assemblies, once they put disc brakes in the back, a lot of them don't have a parking brake, and this might be the case on this particular guy. New silver springs also, gray as silver on the back here. Your rear suspension, the springs are also replaced back here. Let's see, I did mention 9-inch Ford modular. The gas tank is a replacement gas tank, and it unmarked in any way. The square box frame where it transitioned from the C-channel back into the box, there's no marks whatsoever on it anywhere, absolutely none. New bushings in the top, the 4-link suspension that came with this, new bushings in the top and the bottom. So all the bushings have been replaced on this. It has a set of air shocks in the back, conventional shocks up front, but air shocks in the back. New strapping on the gas tank. The frame where it goes from the box frame back to the C channel, it goes from here, right about here, to the back of the car, and then is tied together with another structural support across the back. Totally undisrupted. There's no marks whatsoever on the frame itself, the C channel, or the section that ties the two of them together. Drop downs in the quarters. Still has a drain hole in that one, and in this one also. They're real nice. The floor pans and the drop downs are real nice. Up above the tank, I don't see anything that's been compromised in any way either. So the undercarriage of this vehicle is about as nice as you'll ever find one. You can see the brake lines are all new. Everything's been replaced. A huge exhaust system. Forgot to mention it does have a crossover pipe here. Chrysler engineered, of course, and it adds to the horsepower of the exhaust system. The chassis is just totally rust-free underneath. Engine, transmission, the entire drive line is totally drip-free at this point. It's a nice car. It's a really nice Chevelle. It has nice sound. We're going to go for a quick ride in it here for you and show you how the car performs. And it's a nice car. It's available at Hankster's. Take a look at it. It's a 70 Chevelle SS style car and fantastic condition. A lot of charisma to this guy.